Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude for the secretary, principal, head of the department, and the dear organizing committee of English department from Sita Lakshmi Ramakrishna College. And I would like to greet my fellow participants, and I try to do my best in the upcoming hours. Yeah. Shall we get into the class? So this class should not be monotonous too. Here and there, I'll ask your questions and give some space to you for the response. You can unmute and answer, or you can put your answers in the chat boxes. Feel free to answer. Yes. Let me get into the first thing before entering into the units and all. We should definitely know about the strategy. Actually, you can call it the plan of the day is actually 3 topics: Unit 3, Unit 6, and 7. Okay, but before getting into any kind of examination, each have their own strategies. Okay, let me decode the things. First, you have to know the paper pattern. Okay, each examination differs from its own paper pattern. We have paper pattern divided into sections. Like you have 150 questions, 50 from paper 1 and 100 from paper 2. In 100 questions, if anyone noticed, the questions are not regularly patterned. Like more questions will come from British literature. And the second thing goes to what? Literary criticism and theory. And then the 30% or 20% will come from the world literature. World literatures like post-colonial literature, like American, African, Caribbean, Indian, and so on. Okay, and also 4 to 5 questions in each exam. This is called a recent trends or recent pattern. Will come from new emerging theoretical area, like you can call it from memory studies, ethical studies, and whatnot, chaos theory, then trauma theory, like that. The emerging fields will have some 4 to 5 questions. This is called the paper pattern. You should first know how we can invest our time. Okay, you can some participants may continue reading from British literature only. It will not fetch you the exact marks from the for the current examination. Okay, because you will strengthen the same area from one session to two session or anything, but you should know your strength as well as the weak areas. First of all, you should download your answer sheet. If you're a beginner, just check with the previous year questions. But if you're a participant already given some 2 to 3 attempts, you should download your answer sheet, and then you have to check where are the areas am I weak. Okay, and what are the areas I have some good knowledge on that. Okay, some of us will definitely have knowledge from British literature because we have lot covered from our BA and MA syllabus, but we lack areas, we lack knowledge from other literatures. Okay, so you need to know the correct strength and weak areas of yourself. And then, as I told you before, recent trends. Okay, you have to check with the recent trends. For the past 2 or 3 sessions, actually Indian literature's questions were not that much. Okay, but the recent exam, 2024 exam, they have asked nearly 10 or 12 questions. Maybe they're asking more chronological questions from Indian literature, which was not expected at all from students. So the recent trend will often change. Okay, then we have to find from emerging fields. So what I will suggest is you have to cover everything so that you will not be disappointed from the recent trend area. So then comes the emerging field. As I told you, graphic narratives are asking nowadays. Okay, then memory studies. For this emerging fields, you have some questions, right? How can I approach these new emerging fields? How can I find questions and answer? In the new emerging fields, questions will not be much difficult. Okay, only the familiar things can be asked, like what and all, right? You can take graphic studies, means they will not ask chronology questions and all. What they will ask is the major proponent, the major writer, okay, the seminal text, the seminal works, the seminal anthologies and all. Okay, and the same goes to memory studies, cognitive and LGBT. You can witness some recent questions from the past 2 sessions from LGBTQ anthologies. You have AI, you have free websites and all. You can easily go and find some new points from emerging fields. Okay, and then paper one. Uh, I got my JRF as well as NET only in the third attempt. Why? Because I love literature. I like to read literature questions, new things, and finding new things in literature only. Paper two. But I didn't feel much attachment or interesting things in paper one. Okay, for the past 2 sessions. So I failed nearly giving 2 or 3 questions and 4 or 5 questions and all. Then only I find why we are lacking the thing, why we are lacking our result. I analyzed my paper thoroughly. So I find, okay, paper one, we have to give it, whether we like it or not. Actually, it is interesting. After I have given much time to paper one, knowing all the 10 units, okay. Maths, even though maths is not mm, my cup of tea, but I really like enjoying the DA and all. So I have given much time for paper one also. Only in the next attempt, after doing my paper one analysis and studying everything, I cleared my JRF itself, even the first attempt for NET. Okay, so you should focus your time in the paper one. This is the major mistake people are doing nowadays. So give your time equally to paper one as well as paper two. And then active reading. Anyone knows what is active reading or passive reading? Most of the participants or most of the aspirants, what we'll do usually means we just open a book and we read for the past 1 hour, 2 hour, and then we close, and then the next day we do. Or after 1 week or something, we just open our read. This will not fetch you your mark. Why? Because more than a week without revision, okay, without active reading, the things you read will definitely vanish. Why? Because you should have the thorough reading regularly, at least 1 hour a day. Okay, you should visit what you read yesterday or something, and then also you have to connect the dots with the background knowledge. Okay, you should not read, okay, Shakespeare wrote 12th Night. This is not the correct pattern. Shakespeare wrote 12th Night. What is the background of it? What is the cultural belief in that time? What made him to write these themes? What made him to reach these places around the world? Like that, you have to connect the social background, the psychology of the author, everything with the work and the title. If these are done, it is called as active reading. Okay, then comes mnemonics. We may be good at memory things, keeping things in our mind for a long time, but some of us will definitely struggle with remembering everything, to dump everything at a time. Okay, so this is the technique, this is the main strategy the every aspirant of other examination will try. So it is called as mnemonics. Okay, you can form your own funny story, you can code with one work to one work. It's your personal thing. So if you have any technique to remember such things and club such things, you can take the first letter of a group of writers. For example, before and all, it is very difficult to remember the Oxford and the Cambridge University wits. Now I can say CNG, okay, Christopher Marlowe, and then Thomas Nash, and then Robert Greene. They belongs to such group. Okay, these are all the small techniques and all to keep you remember things. So mnemonics. And then, as I told you before, you should always study with the background, social background of a work of an author, in what age he was living there, and what made him to write such things and all. And also chronology. You can find recent trend was asking so much of chronology questions, and NT really wants to test the people capacity of retaining knowledge, capacity of retaining literature chronological ideology. So you should always study with the year, okay, to ease your result. Then if you have given a 1 or 2 attempt, you will definitely find after finishing a history book, a whole history book, you will find at least 50 or 20 similar titles, confusing titles. Okay, some things can be adapted from some things, from poetry to novel to short story, like that. And also I'll give you an example. Byron's the Vision of Judgment. Okay, it is written against Robert Southey's A Vision of Judgment. It is often a confusing title. Okay, so you should have the keen eye to compare things. Okay, and to remember things in a little coded way. Yeah, and then today's plan is exploring. What we are going to do is the 3 units, as I told you before. Fiction and short story is the first part, and English in India, as well as the culture studies. So far, it is everything is fine. Does anyone has any question to ask from the strategies? You want to know anything? Participants, dear participants. Yes. And then fiction. You definitely know you have a lot of novels. Nearly 100,000 novels will come in a particular year. So it's very vast to deal fiction as well as a short story. So you will need at least 3 to 4 sessions for each unit. So it's injustice to do cover everything, and it will not be appropriate to finish the one section itself. So what I'm going to do is that you have different approaches to reach fiction and short story. One I'm going to do is types. Okay, but after the session, what you're going to do is you should have uh, 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 club it in a way. Okay, yeah, you can read it in a chronological way. Types, okay, and characters. Okay, you can see some characters, list out some characters, and then connect it with the fiction, right? Then you can go to setting, and then you can go to narratives in the novel. You have like particular style of narratives, particular club of narratives, and then time in the novel, the linear pattern. Okay, some novel will have the in medias res type and all. So, and then award winning, any award winning committee or something will be given to the novels. Any awards from Tamil, from India, international awards. No one. Okay, then you can club it with the themes and motives. Okay, similar thematic novels are there. So these are the different types you can approach in the fiction. Okay, yeah. So we all know what is fiction. It is generally made up made up content, created. Okay, created from the imagination of the writer. Okay, and it is not based on real life events. Actually, some novels will be based on real life, but it is fictionalized with the characters. The characters are changed, twist. Okay, the situations are twist and turn. You have uh, such novels will be called as what? Non-fiction, fiction, or faction. Okay, those kind of novels will be based on real life events, but not entirely. Okay, so generally uh, fiction is made up of imaginative work only. Okay, yes. So the word fictitio, okay, itself is derived from the act of making, fashioning, or molding. Yeah. Then we can go into the origin. Origin, yeah. Boccaccio's Decameron. Boccaccio's Decameron will be the precursor to what it also formed the basis for the novel as well as short story. And Petronius Satyricon. Don Quixote. Don Quixote published in which year? It's a precursor to novel form. You should always read the work with the publication. It's 1605. Okay. Then we can define the 4 wheels of English novel. These are the people, these 4 people familiarized the genre called novel. Who are they? Henry Fielding, Samuel Richardson, Lawrence Sterne, and Tobias Smollett. They belong to which century? You can see from the VTNC. They belong to which century? Not to 1799. Okay, not from 1800. Yeah, these are all the major definition based on given for novel. You should definitely read these things. You can be asked these questions in your net. Dr. Johnson is a neoclassical critic. What he says on novel, about novel, it's a small tale generally of love. And Henry James, he belongs to which country? Which writer he is? Indian, American, or British Henry James. Baggy monster. Okay, he called the novel form as large, loose, baggy monster. Then D.H. Lawrence. The novel is the book of life. In what work he says this? Why the novel matters. And E.M. Foster. Any fictitious prose work over 50,000 words in his famous critical work Aspects of the Novel. Aspects of the Novel published in 1920 1927, right? Yeah. Then Terry Eagleton. Terry Eagleton is a particular kind of critic. He belongs to one group. What is that? Terry Eagleton. He called novel as a novel is a piece of prose fiction of reasonable length. In his what work? The English novel. So it's very important. Note it. And then you have different types of novel fiction. So you have Bildungsroman, detective fiction, chivalric romance, dystopian, utopian, science fiction, epistolary, gothic, picaresque, historical, graphic, campus, neuronovel, sentimental novel, regional novels, eponymous, non-fiction, involuted novels. I have given much of these types in my PPT. Other than things, you have to go and work out, collect some information on that. Okay. Yes. Here comes campus novel. Campus novel is nothing but from the name itself, it is based on the what? Campus of the university. Okay. The main characters will be teachers, professors, okay, students. Okay. It has the background of college, university, school, everything. Okay. The famous works are Kingsley Amis, Lucky Jim, John Barth. He's a postmodern American writer. He's a well-known writer. There's much possibility he can be asked in net exam. John Barth's Giles Goat Boy. Then David Lodge, Changing Places. Very important works in campus novel. Kingsley Amis belongs to which group? Anyone? A moment. Kingsley Amis. You have chivalric romance. Chivalric romance is the main prototype of novels, okay, because it originated previously. Type of a prose and verse narrative that was popular in the noble courts of high medieval and early modern Europe. So, Sir Gawain and Green Knight is not Gawain and Green Knight is not entirely a novel type, but it has some chivalric romance thematic elements. Then Don Quixote, as I told you, it is published in 1605. Mortity author. Who wrote Mortity author? Thomas Malone. Then you have Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman usually focus on what? The growth of the character. Okay, the protagonist. So you can call it as what? Yeah, novel of growth or coming of age novel. Okay, David Copperfield, one such great example for Bildungsroman, Sons and Lovers, and Anne Veronica. Anne Veronica is written by H.G. Wells. Okay, you also have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So David Copperfield published in which year? 1850. Okay, always read your work as well as along with the year publications. Okay, Sons and 1913. Okay, detective fiction. You have detective fiction. You have the major character called detective or sleuth. You can call it as sleuth. Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You have famous one. And non-literature students also knows it. Father Brown stories or series. Who wrote it? Father Brown, a Victorian writer. Father Brown is actually a detective like Sherlock Holmes. He has been created by, G.K. Chesterton. He's a Victorian writer. Okay, he wrote Father Brown stories. Agatha Christie, we all know, right? She created Hercule Poirot as well as one female detective. Who's that? Dorothy L. Sayers is a separate writer. Agatha Christie created a female detective. I have given you Marple. So Lord Peter Wimsey is a detective character. He has been created by Dorothy L. Sayers.